You're looking at an entire universe, hidden inside you.
Every heartbeat, every thought, every breath depends on trillions of tiny workers you'll never see.
Every second, trillions of tiny cells keep you alive. Cells are the basic building blocks of every living organism. But who discovered these amazing tiny structures?
In 1665, Robert Hooke observed a thin slice of cork. He discovered tiny box-like structures. He called them cells. But were these cells alive?
The first observed cells in cork were empty and dead. Later, scientists discovered living cells in pond water. But why do cells have different shapes?
Not all cells look the same. Blood cells are round, nerve cells are long, spindle-shaped, and plant cells are rectangular. But why does every cell have a different shape? An amoeba survives with just one cell, while the human body is made of trillions of cells working together. How can one tiny cell perform every life process?
An amoeba has no mouth or stomach. It stretches tiny arms called pseudopodia to surround its food.
An amoeba does every job with one cell. But humans are far more complex, so trillions of specialized cells work together like a giant team. How do these cells stay organized? Every cell is surrounded by a thin protective layer called the cell membrane. It protects the cell and carefully controls what enters and leaves. But if it is so flexible, how do plant cells stay rigid?
Animal cells have only a flexible membrane, but plant cells have an extra strong cell wall made of cellulose. It gives plants shape, fills the space inside every cell. Inside every cell is a jelly-like substance called cytoplasm. It holds all the tiny cell parts and is where most life processes happen.
Just like a city needs a control center, every cell has a nucleus. It stores DNA and controls all the activities of the cell. But how does DNA fit inside such a tiny nucleus?
If stretched out, the DNA inside a single human cell would be about 2 meters long. DNA is so long that it must be tightly packed. When DNA coils and condenses, it forms structures called chromosomes. But do all cells have chromosomes inside a nucleus? Human red blood cells lose their nucleus as they mature. Why? Without a nucleus, they have more space to carry oxygen throughout the body. The first living cells on Earth were simple cells called prokaryotes. Unlike our cells, they never had a true nucleus. Their DNA floats freely inside the cell. But if they don't have a nucleus, what else are they missing? Prokaryotic cells are simple. They have a cell membrane, cell wall, cytoplasm, and DNA. But they don't have membrane-bound organelles. So which cells have all these organelles?
Eukaryotic cells are larger and more advanced. They have a true nucleus and specialized organelles that work together. Plants, animals, fungi, and protists are all made of eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are small and simple, while eukaryotic cells are larger and more complex. The biggest difference is the true nucleus proteins every cell needs.
Every living cell needs proteins to grow, repair, and survive. Tiny ribosomes read genetic instructions and build proteins by joining amino acids together. These newly made proteins travel to different parts of the cell.
The endoplasmic reticulus transport network, rough ER, covered with ribosomes, carries newly made proteins.
The Golgi apparatus receives proteins from the endoplasmic reticulum, modifies them, packages them, and sends them to where they're needed. Which organelle powers the entire cell?
Mitochondria use glucose and oxygen to produce ATP, the cell's energy currency.
Inside the cell, the mitochondrion acts as a power plant. They react, rearranging into carbon dioxide and water. This process releases ATP, the energy currency of life. Inside the mitochondrion, ADP waits. Cellular respiration releases energy. This input allows phosphate to attach, forming ATP, the cell's loaded battery.
When a cell needs energy, ATP releases its third phosphate group, converting into ADP and releasing about 30.5 kilojoules per mole of energy. Lysosomes recycle worn-out cell parts instead of letting them pile up. But what happens if a cell is damaged beyond repair?
When a cell is damaged beyond repair, lysosomes safely digest it to protect the rest of the body. But where does a cell store water, food, and waste?
Vacuoles store water, food, minerals, and waste. In plants, the large central vacuole keeps the plant firm. But how do plants make their own food?
Chloroplasts capture sunlight to make food for the plant and release oxygen for us. But what exactly is chlorophyll?
Chlorophyll absorbs red and blue light but reflects green, making plants look green. The absorbed light energy powers photosynthesis. But are chloroplasts the only found in plant cells?
Plant cells contain 3 types of plastids. Chloroplasts make food, chromoplasts give fruits and flowers their bright colors, and leucoplasts store food like starch.
The cell membrane is a flexible phospholipid bilayer where proteins float like ships in a sea of lipids. This fluid mosaic structure controls what enters and leaves the cell.
The cell membrane isn't just a boundary, it acts like a smart security gate, allowing only selected substances to enter or leave the cell. But how do molecules move without using energy?
Science is full of amazing mysteries. If you enjoyed these fascinating facts, please like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next discovery.